Hello, everybody. I'd like to be here. I can see today is around fewer people than last time when I have visited. So a few people are interested in architecture topic. But actually my today topic is not really about something very technical or very architectural. It's more about like publishing your package to AppExchange. So Andrei was talking more about how to gather solution architecture requirements from client, how to build a project. But my topic is more on the post-production phase. So you have already gathered all the requirements. You have already know what you need. So, and you have a built project, you have a package. So it's not just, and then you need to publish it to AppExchange. And it's about like which steps need to be done to achieve that. Okay. Looks like I forget to publish my screen. So can you check if it's visible? I hope it's visible. So we can move on. So there is an agenda for today. First of all, I will introduce myself, then we will talk about this AppExchange, and next we will talk about new changes that are applicable since March 2023. And then why should we even publish on AppExchange? Next, how do we publish package on AppExchange? And what was one, how do we prepare for security review? And we will have time for questions. So, my name is Bohdan Dovhan. I have 17 certifications. I have 3 pet projects listed and published on AppExchange. I have 50th rank on Salesforce Tech Exchange. I have 12 years of development experience and more than 10 years of Salesforce development experience. And next. So let's talk about AppExchange. I think everybody knows what is AppExchange. It's just marketplace on Salesforce where you can publish package, and you can publish package or you can find a package which you need. So it's both for independent software vendors or short ISV or just simple administrator or users who have as rights to install packages in their orgs. And it's clear, I hope. And what is package? It's also, I think everybody knows, it's just a bundle container of code and metadata which can be published on AppExchange or can be also shared directly to subscribers. Let's talk now about changes since March 16. So before March 2023, there was 2 parts of payment if you wanted to publish your package or solution to AppExchange. There was something like called initial review fee, which was 2,550, and also there was annual review fee, which was not review but annual listing fee, which was charged annually and which costed $150. So now, since March 16, the security review fee is $999 per attempt for paid apps. And also the claim there will be no fees for security reviews for free solutions as it was before, while they work on to redefine the policy, but it's not completely true. Let's discuss it further. So between the March 1st and March 15, Salesforce didn't accept any new submissions for security review to ensure a smooth transition to the new fee structure. And now technically all apps, both free apps and paid apps, they require security review fee payment. But also you can reduce it for a free app from $999 to $1 by opening Salesforce for case and requesting for payable voucher. So let's talk about the UI change. Not sure if you have seen how publishing console was looking before, but it had a different view. I had to redo all my presentations with screenshots because my previous screenshots were no longer relevant. So this is the new publisher view on your partner console, how you can see. So it's been changed a lot because before it was looking completely different way. So let's now discuss why should we even consider publishing packages on AppExchange. First of all, is extended visibility of the product to potential customers. Also, there is increased trust for the label security review pass. Because if you just build your package, you can share directly to your customers, but such package will have security review not passed, and the customers will not know if it's secure enough or not secure enough, and they may hesitate to either buy this package from you or just install some unknown or unrecognized package. And when you have label security review pass, it's a signed mark for potential customers, and they can trust your package and they can install to their orgs. Also, there is option to create patch versions, which by default is not available to non-partners. Also, there is option to push upgrades to customers, which also is not available by default. Also, if you have like partnership agreement with Salesforce and you have passed security review, you can elaborate and get benefits from license management application, feature management application, and support console. And I don't know if it's visible enough, but just there is some mark as passed when you when you view all your installed packages. So now let's discuss how do you implement it. First of all, your company, or you can do it yourself if you if you're private entrepreneur, you can sign direct agreement with Salesforce to publish your packages under your name as pet projects, for example. This is how did I myself. Also, I was working at several companies that were publishing, their clients were publishing packages to AppExchange, but since I was not involved in that process and I could not learn how this is done, so I decided just to sign my own partnership agreement with Salesforce so that I could, for example, learn and I could share how it looks like and how it works. Next one, after you have signed partnership agreement and you have access to partner community, you can create listing there. Next, you can create and develop your package before you create a listing, but so those two steps can be changed. But you need listing, you need a package which is created and developed. Next, you need to connect your packaging or Dovhan if your package is second generation to partner community. Next, you need to submit your package to security review and to pass it. And the last one, you might want to update your listing and make it public. By default, when you create listing, it's private, so nobody can see it. But once you pass security review, you can update it to public, so it will be available to customers and everyone. So let's see the new UI, user interface, how it looks like. So now you have three options when you create a listing. You can select packages, solution, API, or a consultant. So we will not dive deeper in the options with API and consultant, because consultant is more for example, if you have a company and you provide some consultant services, you can publish your consultancy services on AppExchange as well as packages, but we are not going to that. We are only looking today as packaging solution. Next one, we need to select packages solution type. Also, you can select between usual Sales Cloud, Salesforce platform package, or you can select B2C commerce strategy. We will not talk about B2C commerce strategy today, so we are also only talking about Salesforce platform package. Next one, again, we will be selecting one from the four options. One is Salesforce app, another is Bolt solution, another is Flow solution, and another is Lightning component. So I have one Salesforce app, actually two Salesforce apps, and one Lightning component available on AppExchange. But you can also select something like Bolt solution or Flow solution. But what I usually describe, it applies either to Salesforce app or Lightning component. Next one, there is actually 2 times when you select language. I don't know why did they bring it as one step here, like English or Japanese, because on the later phases, there will be again another step and you all can select language again, but they have built it in the interface. And next one, so now we can come to actually the main part. You can fill the basic and fill out the listing title and other details. So what you're going to show here is like you need to provide a good description. You need to select required Salesforce products like Sales Cloud. You need to select compatible Salesforce Cloud that can be blank. You need to select supported Salesforce editions. You need to select supported features like Lightning Experience, Salesforce Mobile, personal accounts, multiple currencies, Salesforce Shield, Lightning Builder, and you need to select a supported industry. So it looks like this. So you select products, you can select Sales Cloud by default. Then you can select compatible products, you select supported Salesforce editions. Usually you will be selecting Enterprise and Limited Developer Edition. Maybe you might select Professional. If your app is working with Professional Edition, next you can select supported feature. Usually you select at least Lightning Experience is required, so you need to select at least one. So you can select Lightning Experience. Also, if your package works fine with multiple currencies, you can select that or other options. And next one is select supported industries, but it's optional, so you can skip it. Next one, you can select target user persona. You can select supported languages again. You can select business needs. You can select some equality, fill out dropkey badges. You can fill out some additional requirements. You can fill in a business contact information. So there is like no Ukrainian in the list currently, but there is an enemies language. And on the business needs, I usually put as admin and devs tools. So let's see, you can select target user persona. Usually I select an administrator because mine usually are administrative tools. Next one, we can select supported languages, usually it's only English. Next one is business need. Usually for my packages is admin and developer tools, but you can select what your packages for. And you can put some checkbox for equality. For example, if you have something like device on business or some accessible solution. Next one, you can select if you are donating 1% for of your profit to some non-profit charity organizations. And you can put some additional ones. Next, you put some contact informations, and next you need to select one of 4 pricing options, which can be free, paid add-on required, and freemium. Usually it was much more simple. You were just selecting free or paid. There was no freemium, there was no paid add-on required. But now there are many more options. So before publishing listing, Salesforce must check it complies with partner brand compliance and partner program policies. So they will be checking information which you provided in basics and price your solution steps. And this approval process takes about 30 days. And it's possible to continue updating listing while it's not approved yet. It's before it was called like business plan approval, and it can like you need to consider the time to for Salesforce to review and approve your business process before you can proceed and even submit your application for security review. So this is how it looks like. So once you fill everything, you can click submit, but if you have not put some required fields, you will see some error messages like this, finished in the basics. And if you have filled everything, you can see something like your listing is in the view. And for some of my packages, I can see something like approval status with no message. Maybe some bug in Salesforce, not sure. But I think it has been already approved, or I'm not sure why it's empty. That is what it's seen. And also you need to continue and put in some additional information like as your title, add tagline, and add full description. This is how it looks like. It's on the third step process. So you need to provide some means how your package can be found by potential customers. Next, you add highlights, you add terms and conditions. So this is how it looks like. And you need to upload some pictures, small logo, large logo. And this is how it looks like. So you can just drag and drop files here. And they have provided some restriction on it. So it should match some size. It should not be bigger than 120 by 120 pixels. And next, you upload large logo. You decide if you allow marketing use. This is how it looks like. And next one, you add some screenshots and add videos. You can add up to 15 high resolution images and videos. And next, you can add demo video, and you can add up to 15 customer resources. So here you can put some demo video. And actually, I think it's better to put some demo video rather than usual video in your previous setup, because if you have demo videos, then you can configure leads generation, and it's more useful. So next, you need to select develop package. It is called solution here. And if you cannot select anything, this means you cannot configure any organization or any packages. So you need to go to Technologies tab, open Org subtab to connect either Develop Hub or Packaging Org for the package, depending if you have second generation managed package or third generation managed package. And this is how it looks like. So I have a lot of them. And if not, we have here on the right hand side link to connect Salesforce Org. And if you go there, we can, for example, see which orgs we have already connected, including there might be dev hubs, there might be packaging orgs, or any orgs that you have. This listing all the packages that are available there. So to select a package to review, you need to connect a org first. Like I said before, if you want to connect first generation managed package, you need to connect your packaging org. And if you connect second generation managed package, you need to connect dev hub. Let's go further. This is how it looks like. So it's listed by orgs. You can see already, you can see some connected date. And so also, when we click on connect technology, you can click on the org to add a new org if you don't have one. And so I think is the same screenshot. So there is a button to connect org, and when you click that button, you will have a pop-up window to enter your credentials to your GitHub or packaging org. And next one, if you have already selected your solution, you can then select version for security review. You can only select release package version, so you cannot select some beta versions. And next, you need to choose installation method. By default, we always use AppExchange, unless you want customers to directly connect to you and contact you and ask you, please give us a link to your package, then you can select other options. But by default, for me, it's always working, just install your package from AppExchange. Also, it's possible to install from your website or contact you for install instructions. Next one, you can have options to set up trial template to offer free trials if you have paid up. So I never did it because all of my apps were free. So, but it's possible to create some trial force template and configure some free trials. For example, if you build some paid package solution, you can select some trial force template, and your potential customers, your leads, can try out and see how your package works before they actually buy this package from you or before they make a decision. Also, you can enable test drive. It's a little bit different because it's not about creation in org, but you have already predefined some org, and users can just log into that org and test your solution. And next one, you can enable lead collections, and in many cases, you can grab some lead information. So on the next slide, you'll see how to set up lead capturing for the following events. When a lead watches a demo video, when a lead takes a test drive, when lead signs up for a free trial, and actually when lead installs the package solution. So this is how it looks like. So you need to enter ID of the org that has that lead enabled, and all leads will be sent to that org. And next, you can have several checkboxes and enable some leads. But if you don't have any demo video, you will not enable it. It will be disabled. So you need to first add some demo video, and then you will be able to check this checkbox and see. And the same for free trials. You need to configure it first before using it here. And to install solution, you need to have it. So this is how it looks. And when you click done, you'll see overall business status. For example, for my this test app, you can see a lot of red triangles, which notify that I haven't really finished filling any basics or this approval process or describe the solution. And so if you select package version, you can see some red triangle with some message that this package version hasn't passed security review. So you cannot publish such a listing, but you can submit it for review and go to security review to submit it. So now we will talk about security review and talk about some formal steps, like we need to fill in some contact information, some technical details. We need to upload the documents, which are most important part of the review. And we need to provide some information for test environments, like user credentials. We need to review the summary. And finally, we need to pay for security review. So this is how it looks like. So it's a different screen. And you can have a lot of training materials here. Then you can provide your contacts, email address, name. Then you describe your solution again, and you can actually, this is important because, for example, if you have some combined solutions, some hybrid app, which might have mobile app or some web integration, you need to list here every integration that you have. For example, if I have very simple package, which has only some functionality in self-cloud, I don't need any of those checkboxes. But if I had, I would have to check this web app checkbox, for example, some, I don't know, Heroku or marketing clouds. I would have to check this checkbox and other checkbox. Or if I have any other technology, for example, mobile technology or any others, then I will have check another checkbox. So for each part of the integration, I would have to describe. For example, test app containing 3 tabs. If I have any Salesforce authentication token, I need to describe how they're stored, how they're used. If solutions stores any source of data outside Salesforce platform, it should be also mentioned here. And if there is mobile app, it's also you can check the checkbox, and then you have to provide some details for mobile app. And next section is most important. It's about documentation. You need to first provide your solution architecture and usage documentation, where you can explain how your solution works. And this is the document that every architect needs to fill in, or at least for security review, but not only for security review. It's always a good choice to have documentation. And next, you can have some sample API rollouts. And you can have some check marks security standard results. And next is false positive documentation. So for example, when you run check mark security standard and you receive some false positive, for example, they just flagged by check marks, but they are not really security flaws. And you need to describe every piece of that information here in this document, and you need to upload. And last, you can add any other documents which you may want to add. Also, Salesforce has provided some guide about how you create environment for security review. You need to create special trial template. Then this trial template has disabled multi-factor authentication for security review team to easily look into your solution or to your org. You need to then install the release package version to that org and create some guest admin user with the appropriate profile, which has keep validation in the name, so that they can look in without multi-factor authentication. And if needed, you could configure it for use, for example, assign correct permission stats or create some test data or configure it in any way so that when guest admin logs into the org, they will be able to fully use the functionality of the package. And you can just log in yourself as that guest admin user and check and confirm that this user has all correct access. Everything is configured. You can fully use the application before you submit it for security review. And this is how it looks like, this guide. So they provide why do you need. So you can also create any other org, but in such case, you will have to disable multi-factor authentication yourself. So if you already use this trial force template, then everything is configured for you, and you don't need to have a lot of manual action configuration for, for example, disabling MFA or something like that. Next is about username and password authentication. So you need to specify username and password for the guest admin profile and provide any API case. And next, if you have any client apps, you need to provide installation links. If you have mobile apps, you need to select mobile platform and application file and installation links. And next one, if you have any other information, you can also provide and specify them. And finally, you can review and submit. And if you cannot, you will see some red triangles, which will tell you, for example, required documentation is missing or required test environment is missing. And once you have put it here, everything, you will see another screen that you need to pay. So you can click and pay them. And let's now talk about technical steps. So far we have been talking about some formal steps we usually need to perform as a publisher. But also as an architect, as a developer, you need to run some technical steps. For example, you need to run checkmark scanner. This is required for security use mission. And you have several options how you can do it. You can do it either on partner portal or you can do it on customer portal. Next, you need to run PMD or any other static analyzer tool. It's good to have PMD. You need to address any findings from checkmarks and PMD. You need to prepare solution architecture usage document. You need to prepare false positive documents. If you cannot work around some findings from checkmarks, or if you failed security review on the second time, you will need to provide any false positive documents that have been flagged from security review team, or you will need to fix them. What are like common findings when you submit for security review? For example, sharing violations. If you don't use this sharing, it will be flagged by security review team. For example, in force code or FLS, you can have some elaborate some features like methods like security strict accessible or use this user mode to ensure that, or you can have some other approaches. Also CSRF, you don't need to, you're not allowed to perform DML during page load unless it's really required and it's your business functionality. Also, SQL injection, you need to prevent it by just, for example, escapes of the quotes in dynamic queries. You need to remove all the bugs and make sure that you don't have any sensitive information in the bugs. Also, you need to check external JavaScript library vulnerabilities if you use any external JavaScript libraries. Also, you need to remove any inline CSS styles, and you need to avoid using some fixed, absolute, or float in CSS. And or if you really need them, you need to add them as exceptions to false positive document. So again, if you talk about sharing violations, they can use either with sharing or inherited sharing. So it's clear we should always avoid empty sharing class declarations. And if you have any without sharing, you need to document and justify them. Also, we need to verify CRUD and FLS permissions on SOCL and DML. And we can consider using this user mode or using method security strict and accessible. We also might want to consider using some custom permissions for enable functionality. And we can consider using permission sets to combine necessary permissions together or even permission set groups. For CSRF, first of all, you don't need you need to avoid performing DML operations on page load, and everybody knows what CSRF is. Just when user is intact, which enforces an end user to execute some unwanted actions in the application in which he or she is currently authentication. So you should avoid it. Next one is SQL injection. It's also a common application security flaw that results from insecure construction of database queries with users like data. So you need to always validate user inputs. So like AppExchange doesn't use SQL, but it has example database query language SQL, and it's more simpler and more limited in functionality than SQL. And with SQL injection, you can add additional conditions to the already existing query, but you cannot build any query together. Therefore, risks are much lower for SQL injection than for SQL injection, but the attacks are nearly, some attacks are nearly identical to traditional SQL injection. And to fix it, you can easily use some binding, column, or method escapes and purpose. Next one, you should not put something like session ID in the box because it would be flagged as security review. And for example, some attacker may get this information. However, it's not really like, it's hardly possible, but still, as we discussed, okay, this we already, so let's now discuss about review time. So usually it might take from 6 to 9 weeks to get security review completed. And for me, it's like first review took 8 weeks. Submission for additional next package version can take 1 to 3 weeks. And so source says that in exceptional circumstances, the priority can be given to particular review. And you need to remember that this really means exceptional and still requires the security review to become available, which could be multiple days. So you need to reach to your partner account management manager if you need some assistance and if you need some more quicker sole source review. Next one, if you talk about checkmark scatter, it is required but not sufficient. So if you have successful checkmark scan, it doesn't guarantee that you will have successful passive security review submission. And it doesn't report all possible security vulnerabilities that might be found by manual review of security review team. And security review team will reject the security review if any security vulnerabilities were found in checkmarks which are not fixed or mentioned as false positives. And also is one of the required security review submission, as well as Chimera or BARC or ZAP for external endpoints or external like integration for web apps or anything like that if you use them. Next one. Recently, Salesforce promotes very much Salesforce Code Analyzer, but from my personal experience, it just runs PMD and some additional style checks. And since it's not like official requirement to run this analyzer, and such results are not accepted with submission for security review, if you already use PMD or some other tool, there is no sense to switch to Salesforce Code Analyzer. But if you don't use PMD, it's good for you to start with one, either PMD or Salesforce Code Analyzer, in addition to checkmarks, because checkmarks is not enough for security review. Okay, this is the last slide. Do you have any questions? Yes. Please give microphone to this person in the first row.
Oh, could you please share something that was totally unexpected from reasons that why security review were not passed?
Well, it was not something like really unexpected, but okay, we can return to some slides which I mentioned. For example, everything that I have mentioned here, it was my like personal experience, despite it's mentioned in documentation, but I'm more like practical guy, and I just try to do it on my personal experience, not by reading documentation. So, for example, for one security review, I forgot to remove the backlogs, and they have like rejected it because I have my session ID in the backlog. Actually, even the backlog can be read but only by like users or Salesforce admin. So access to the backlog requires admin access. So it's not really like big security reform, but it's mentioned in this. And so I just ended by removing the backlog and then submitting. Also, recently I have submitted one new component for security review, but it failed because I used Quill library, and this library had some unknown security vulnerabilities like reverse stub nabbing. For me, it sounds, what the heck, what is reverse stub nabbing? It's nothing serious, yeah. But it was rejected, so I would have to like resubmit it and update the version from 1.3.4 to 1.3.5. So it was unexpected to me, but well, yeah, they are right. So if I use some insecure external components, because actually I didn't expect it. The component has just one LWC component and one static resource, and that's all. I thought, well, it should pass for sure, because there's no place where they can tell me something is wrong, but they found it. Okay, in the static resource, I have external JavaScript library and it's vulnerable. Okay, I didn't check for that, my fault. I agree. And well, I hope I answered your question. And in the back row.
Okay, my question is, Salesforce provide user testing functionality. For example, I developed some package, but in some cases that's not works as I hope. Yeah. So I can pass the security review, but other functionality not works as paid. So is Salesforce provide some user testing?
No, Salesforce doesn't provide any user testing. They only test if your solution is secure enough, but it's your responsibility to hire a tester if you cannot test yourself. and to pay the QA or tester to test the solution.
Okay, so I can publish some my package, some functionality that not works, and I can sell all of this for some users, and no one can check what I developed. In general, is really worked, and as maybe as description of this package, and yeah.
Well, first of all, like Salesforce only checks and you don't steal any information from customers and you do not follow some bad practices. But if you are doing some package which doesn't work, I'm sure that there will be a user complaints on AppExchange review, and they will put you 1 star, and other customers will take a look. Hey, this package has like 21 star AppExchange review, so definitely something wrong with it. It doesn't work as it should.
Okay, and last, can Salesforce without your without some discussion with you delete your package?
No, Salesforce cannot delete your package, but your package might be expired. For example, Salesforce requires you to pass security review in regular times, for example, once a year or once 2 years. And if you do not submit a new package version for 3 years, they might just mark your solution as expired and it will not be available on AppExchange. It will not be technically deleted because it will not be deleted from your customers' database, from your customers, but it will be marked as expired and customer will not see it any longer in AppExchange for installation.
Thanks.
Okay, now Andrei has some question.
Can you share your vision on Exchange? Because, like, from my opinion, it's done. Like, there are a lot of great packages, mostly for enterprises, like learning management systems, CPQs, document generation, you know. So they already like getting a lot of money, but the packages which is much smaller is that they almost not visible, and someone needs to look for them. So someone needs to dig into the whole listing and find something. And it's always serious. So can you share your vision on Exchange?
Well, AppExchange is just marketplace, and the same applies to any marketplace. If you have Apple Store or iStore or Google Store, you have some popular application, you have some unpopular application, but there are some differences. So you can find a lot of useful tools there, but definitely some packages might not be as visible as others. So you need to, if you are a package owner, you should work on marketing to publish your package, to make it visible to customers and make it available to customers so that they know that you exist and you have some beautiful package to offer. So you can post it on your like LinkedIn profile, on your blogs, on Facebook, that okay, it has this beautiful package, so that they know. Because also you can sometimes you can subscribe for marketing advertisement from Salesforce, and they can show your like images, your like marketing promotion images to potential customers, to leads, and they might install. But you cannot like think that it's enough, because, for example, my package exists for many years, and only now I started receiving some reviews, some like feedbacks, but it exists for a long time. And firstly, it was very small, like users who were installing. So for me, it's like lake where there's a lot of fish, and you can like try to catch some fish, or you can put some fish there, and yeah, you can. There are some big players, some big fish, some sharks, some whales, and there are some smaller like fishes. But yeah, that's how it is. Yeah, Bohdan. You're asking or you're requesting to Bohdan? Can you put your...
I have two questions. The first one is how to change the type of your package from free to paid one. Do you need to re-upload it, or you just can to switch some checkbox and to make it paid? And another question is that are you able to track in some way who downloaded your package? And the last one is, have you faced with such situations when somebody downloaded your package and then offered you to consult them or some job offer or something like that?
Well, all of these questions are very good. First of all, I personally never changed package from free to paid one because it will produce some errors. Not errors, but okay, when you change from free to paid, you have existing customers which can still use free version, and they will not become paid customers. And for new customers, it will be paid, but there are a lot of limitations, and actually it might need a separate approval for business plan change. It might need, I don't know, some other changes. So I think it's complicated. For me, I would, if I want to put some paid package, I can just put another listing with the same name, maybe the same package, but I would put just a separate listing so that all the customers that I will have, they will be paid and they will be the same. And next question is if we can get information. Yes, we can. Actually, we have a lot of options. First of all, for example, if you are using packaging, you can see subscribers in your packaging, or if you're using development hub and packaging mesh, you can see them in Dovhan. Also, disregarding which package type you use, you have license management application where you can see all of your subscribers as well. They are duplicated in that place and in that place as well. And in, if you're using paid application in license management, you can decide, for example, which customer has paid to you and which has license and whose license is expired. And you can control that in a license management application. Also, you have a feature management application. If some customer paid you more, you can turn on some additional cool features for them. And I think, so you have a lot of options how to. Also, one more option, every time when anyone installs it, you will get a lead. And you can check your lead, and if you have configured it correctly in your partner publisher console. If you don't configure lead capture, you will not get leads. But if you do, you will have leads. But I think customer may opt out, so not every installation will be seeing leads, but I think most of them should. So there are a lot of them. And last question. If you had job offers, no, I never had any like job offers but once I have some feedback from one customer of my pre-package, which was asking me, hey, it's so cool package, why did you put it for free? It definitely costs some money. I would expect such a virtual package to be paid. And I will tell him, okay, this is my just pet project. I don't own any big company. I cannot provide some robust customer support. So I just wanted to learn and try. So it was just my pet project, but yeah, definitely it was used a lot of resources and time to build it. So, but I also didn't want to pay $2,550 to pass security review. And also I failed several times, so it might require more. But anyway, so I just decided to go with free option. Now, since actually, there was some question about like the AppExchange, if it's dying or not dying. Actually, since March, I have seen a lot of partners complaining about Salesforce requiring a payment for like free package. Because, for example, I have only 3 packages on AppExchange, but there are partners who have 20 free packages on AppExchange. And to maintain them, they would need to pay like 20 times on 100. It's like 20,000 of dollars yearly. And it's like very big cost. And plus the cost of developing and maintaining projects. So now, like for the free sector of AppExchange package, it might be slowing down or dying because of this change. And also I have seen a lot of customers complaining, hey, I have opened in the case to get a waiver voucher to reduce my security review payment, but I didn't receive any response from the sole source support team and so on and so forth. And this is very frustrating. So maybe the free part of AppExchange may die soon or not, but I hope there will be some new like change in the future, which should like return things to which were before the 1st March. And yeah, I think, did I answer your question? Okay. Do you have any other questions?
Yes, my question is about timings. You mentioned earlier that you passed security review in 4 weeks, right? It means all iteration with all fixed comments, or it was for each iteration?
Well, first time it took 8 weeks, and it was, I think, first time it was failing, and then I submitted again, and I got approved in 1 or 3 weeks. Actually, each time when you submit your package for AppExchange, you can get 3 results. You can have passed, you can have failed, and you can have incomplete information. For example, if you didn't specify like testing environment credential, they will just say, hey, your submission is incomplete. We cannot proceed. Please complete your submission. If you did not mention all the false positives, they can pay there is like positives, and they do not check it's false positive, it's true positive. They find something that you didn't mention your false positive document, either in solution architecture and usage document, and they fail because you didn't mention, and they consider this a security fault, even if it's like false positive. So it usually might take from like 8, maybe a little bit more, maybe like 10 weeks, something like that.
One additional. Is there any difference between paid and free application packages? Do you know? Maybe something like that.
Yes, before there was no security review fee for paid application at all before the 1st of March. And it was much more easier to submit such packages for security review. But from other perspective, it's like the same.
I mean, timings, maybe some prioritizations, maybe.
Well, if you are a big, wealthy client and you can pay Salesforce to get your review faster, they might consider it. If you are free, you might need to wait the whole time. So, but I only submitted some free package version, and on any of projects that I was involved, I was not like allowed to reach on this level of any decisions, or I was not informed, like if the customers had passed like the first time or second time, or how long it take. So I can only talk about personal experience. Also on the project when I'm engaged right now, we started 3 years ago, and I pushed client customer from the very first time. We should push to AppExchange, but it was not priority for them at that point of time. And now it looks like maybe they want to push it to publish to AppExchange, but they have not published it yet, so I cannot tell you about paid packages because I just don't have this information. But sure, since they mentioned that if you have some urgent need and you have money, yeah, definitely you can negotiate with them and they can give you some free pass. But I have not experienced it myself. Yes.
Hello. Can you recommend some useful packages, free packages for the sales or service cloud? For example, in marketing cloud, I'm using the Query Studio that helps make SQL queries simpler for testing. So maybe some, except yours, the packages as well.
Yeah, I can definitely suggest to promote my own packages. So one of the packages is bulk objects and fields manager, permissions manager. It allows you to configure FLS and root for many objects, many fields at one simple screen. So it saves you time because on standard Salesforce interface, you can select one profile and you can select like fill out security for fields in that profile, or you can select one field in many profiles, but you cannot select many fields and many profiles at the same time. And in my package, you can do that. As well for object level permission, you can select in standard Salesforce application, you can select like one Salesforce object and many profiles on one profile and many Salesforce objects. But in my package, you can select many of those and those. There are still some limitations applied, but yeah, it's what else? Well, there are a lot of useful packages. I cannot tell, for example, streaming monitoring. It's a package by Salesforce Labs. You can like monitor platform events that you send. It's very useful if you develop platform events. Also, I have another package, which is a second generation managed package, where you can do the push upgrades, when you can see all the package versions. And it's very useful if you develop second generation managed packages. Also, there is similar packages by Salesforce Labs, which is called Package Visualizer, but it has a little bit different functionality. And some reviewers say that my package is better, so you can definitely try it. And yeah, there are a lot of packages, and I personally didn't use them much because when I was working on package, we tend to develop our custom implementation instead of using some paid third-party packages. But there are definitely a lot of them, but yeah, I just didn't use them much. But I know, for example, a lot of users using some DocuSign for Salesforce or Conga or any other applications. I didn't use it myself because we are just building some competitor product. But yeah, it's possible to use any of them if you need. Yeah. Okay, do you have any more questions?
We are a bit out of time.
Okay, I can just ask two questions to the audience. So, first question, how much costs security review fee for a free application today? Yes?
So you have to pay $999, or you can submit a case and pay $1. Right?
Yes, correct. So take copy.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, next question. How many submissions did Salesforce accept between the March 1st, 2023 and March 15th, 2027?
0.
Yeah. Take it up. Take it up. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Bohdan, for your session. Here is some gift for you as well.
Okay.